The 32-driver Formula Drift Championship heads to the Pacific Northwest and Evergreen Speedway. James Dean most recently won in New Jersey and is holding off the Norwegian hammer Fredrik Aasbo for the time being. But this track is the equalizer and is historically a pivotal event. So anything can happen as drivers take their positions and get ready for automotive war. It's round 5 of 8 here at the event known as the Battle in Seattle. Let's go inside the series only on Formula Drift Insider. Before the action ensues here at Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington, let's take a look back at round 4 at Wall Stadium in New Jersey.
Last event in Jersey was solid. Qualified number 1, got on the podium for the first time this year. So I mean, that's basically what you go to events to do. Obviously try to win, but you know, a 3rd place finish this year is solid for me. Gets me right up in the top 5 in points, back in the top 5. So no complaints, like definitely a solid event. The battle with Field, I think I just gave him a little bit too much on the run-up. I was able to reel him in on the bank and stayed like super close to him on the infield. We got it one more time. Again, he just outran me a little bit on the run-up. I wasn't really expecting a drag race, and that's what he did. I was kind of more just like getting into entry with the other car, but I'll keep that in mind for future battles with him.
So the New Jersey round wasn't too good for us. It was the worst one in the season. We had some troubles before the qualification. We need to replace the suspension, so the car wasn't driving too good. Then in the competition, I was battling James, and the engine failed. Actually, it overheats. We changed the engine before this round, and 3 days ago actually we was practicing, checking if everything is okay, and we cooked another engine. So we have already like 2 engines behind us. It's my 3rd engine now in the car this season. So fortunately it looks like it works good. I hope it will stay like this till the end of the season.
Yeah, round 4 at Wall was going good for us for a minute there, and then we got all the way to the top 8. We had a good bracket, car was running good, and we had a mechanical failure. At first we didn't know what it was. We were losing power throughout the run with JTP in the one more time battle, and we were just like, we thought the motor was going, we didn't know what to do. And when I came back around for the 2nd run of the one more time, the car continued to stall. And so it was either, it's an electrical glitch or something, or maybe the motor just that hurt. Either way, it stalled out twice, pulling up to the line. We line up for my lead run. I go to leave and it's stalled. And with the rules, you leave the line, you stall, you're out. So yeah, after a couple hours of diagnosing, we found out that that was the issue, got it fixed, and the car's running great now. But that's what happens in competition, just wrong place, the wrong time.
New Jersey was a roller coaster ride. We started off really well, qualifying high, and got through top 32, no problem, and then boom, top 16, I sent it straight into the wall. Forrest Wang had nowhere to go, crashed into me. It was a lot of spectacle and 2 crashed cars, but we lost valuable points losing out that early. I think what happened is I got into my head a little bit. I thought that I had to get away from Forrest, and I stepped it up just a little bit, and I was playing with fire all weekend long, getting inches away from that wall. And when margins are so slim, it doesn't take much for you to hook on the wall, and it made for a correction with Forrest plowing into me.
Yeah, so just approaching that event mentally for me, I just felt like I was ready for whatever challenge was in front of me, and I was really hungry for a win and try to get back on top of that podium. And we just went there, pushed so hard from our first lap in practice all the way through. The car ran so well, and I was just feeling really focused, really enjoyed the track, and we had a good setup. So let's take it one step at a time. We had really good battles with Ken Gucci, Peter Vinsek, Odie, and in the finals we met Matt Field. So a lot of Falcon Tire and battles going on there, and we just gave it everything. battled the field really hard, had a really close chase run on the bank, and laid down a solid lead run, and we managed to get the victory. It was close, but we got it. So, you know, it just shows hard work really pays off, and it's tough this year, man. The level is after jumping up, and we really have to fight every single battle because you can get taken out in top 32 so easily.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out, Science In, Performance Out. By Air Force, Aim High. And by the Formula Drift app. Download the FD app in the iOS or Android store now.
We're officially beyond the halfway point of the 2018 Formula Drift Championship. At this point, drivers are sizing themselves up to hold the title. And of course, all drivers want to end up on the podium.
You know, doing well is just like, that's the name of the game. I mean, it's going to keep me up in points, keep me qualifying later in the day, which I think is good. I think there's an advantage there. You get to watch all the mistakes that other people are making and kind of get your better game plan. Staying up in points is key, you know, especially at this point. We're halfway through the season. I've already positioned myself in a good position to have a fight for the championship, and having a solid event at this round definitely will continue that on in that chase for the championship.
The competition here is really hard. The other drivers also have the same goal as we, so we know about it, but we also knew that our crew, our machine, our car is great and is capable of doing it, so everything is in our hand, and we need to try our best to not be beaten by ourselves and focus about the other competitors, and I think it should be fine.
It's really hard to gain ground on the bank. All the cars are running pretty good, and the tire weight rules keep them very balanced, and so if you don't enter in within a car length of that lead car, it's very difficult to close that gap. I mean, you might start inching away at them, but by the time you get up on them, you're at the end of the bank. So, like I said, obviously that's better than nothing, but you really need to be, you know, nose to tail going into the initiation.
It is impossible to be super close around the entire track. It's just not physically possible. But the guys that do it best are the guys that really get in super early on that bank. They remain glued to that door all the way until they drop down into the infield. Then you've got to give room. If you don't, you're going to get pinched on the inside and lose ground for the rest of the track.
So back in the Northwest, last year was my first time here. We loved it. There was some forest fires, so I think it was quite smoky last year, but the weather is looking really good for this year. I do remember the crowd here last year were insane, and when that grandstand is full, it just looks incredible from the driver's seat. And yeah, really looking forward to driving here again, and let's try to put on a show, and hopefully we get a good result.
This is the point of no return. The drivers will go head-to-head after the judges elaborate on what they want to see. The track, it's rough, literally. The walls, unforgiving. One of the most fun tracks for the drivers is also fun for the spectators. First up, our #1 qualifier, Peter Visick takes his bye run and gets the fast pass into the top 16. Then Jeff Jones takes out former champ Michael Essa. Jeff Jones has really made a name for himself this season.
Right on. It's all solid run. I mean, like on the lead run, got where we needed to be. It was a little off that inner front clip, but really it was just the track being a little greasier than I thought. And then on the chase run, we just did exactly what we needed to do, and it was solid.
What do you want for top 16?
I think we'll have to put a little bit more in it, but I think it'll be solid.
Right on, man. We're on it. Good job.
Next up, Alex Hilbrun versus Dirk Stratton. Dirk Stratton, a contender for Rookie of the Year, takes himself out as he goes hard into the wall. Hilbrun moves on.
First run, I was leading first, laid down a sweet qualifying line, got all my clips, was really happy, and Kyle going over the last corner, he hit the last inner clip and it got stuck under his front wheel, and he lost all steering and went off track. So unfortunately for him, he got it incomplete. So leading into the second run where I was chasing, had a big advantage, and I just kind of played it safe, kept the safe distance the whole way through, try not to make too many big mistakes, and it was enough to move on to top 16. So we're in the main show, Peter's in the main show, and we're feeling good.
Formula Drift veteran Ken Gucci versus Dan Burkett. Dan Burkett with something to prove, pushes too hard, literally into Ken Gucci.
Oh, super fun battle here with Federico Seriffo, all the way from Italy in a beautiful Ferrari. And you know, I sat there at the start line thinking, how cool is this? A Corolla going up against a Ferrari. And we had the upper edge today, took out Federico into top 16. Here we go.
Got him.
Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward battle. One more times and stuff with his engine is always a bummer, but I mean,
I didn't know what to expect with him coming out and all the problems he's had this weekend. So
I know.
You know, lead run was, you know, more than I thought he was going to put on. You know.
Yeah, me too.
So,
he was definitely closer on my lead run than I thought.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you told me to like don't leave anything on the table.
Yeah, nothing on the table.
Yeah.
He was running. He wasn't out there just putting around. The start was weird. I don't know if he missed a gear or.
Yeah, I don't know if
or
it's engine running bad or what.
I couldn't tell, but he jumped on it and he was gone.
Kristaps Blues, who qualified second, gets his bye run into the top 16. Next up, Cameron Moore, known as the Butcher, goes against Castro. Castro chokes him up, and the judges side with Cameron Moore.
Top 32, we're up against Farouk Kugay and his BMW, and we had the advantage going into the round since we had the lead lap from a better qualification score. And just went out there, tried to lay down a nice qualifying lap. Pretty clean, not my best, but decent. And then we just went out and chased Farouk. He had a couple big mistakes on the bank. I was able to just close in on him and stay relatively close and finish out the run and just as clean as possible. And we ended up getting a win based on just Farouk's mistakes on the track.
Another veteran versus rookie battle poses Kevin Lawrence from Orlando, Florida against Dai Yoshihara. Kevin Lawrence spins out and takes himself out. Next up, Taylor Hull, who debuts a new Cadillac, gets taken out by the Mustang of JTP.
Top 32 battle, I went against Alec Honendale. The kid is a killer. I always enjoy running him because it's just a heads-up battle. He led me first. I entered, stuck it on his door the whole time, and pretty much had a very commanding chase lap with him. During my lead run, I did everything I needed to do. I came off the bank a bit early, which I need to work on, but other than that, I put the car everywhere exactly where I needed to go. Put a little gap on him. He wasn't able to hang all the way through the course, and we're moving on to the top 16.
A Formula Drift rookie, Matt Van Kirk, is very familiar with this track. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off. Championship contender Odi Bakshis moves on.
So going out for our 32 battle, we had the same issue that happened to us at Wall, New Jersey. We did 2 test days, spent a lot of time on the dyno, rewired a couple things. We thought we had it fixed, but essentially we lost sync with our throttle body again. Right in top 32 on both runs, got 2 zeros. Absolutely gutting, because I'm pretty sure our hopes for our 4th championship is now over.
The road ends for some, but continues for others. More when we return on Formula Drift Insider.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Nexen Tire. Driving tomorrow. By NOS. With Complex 6 for high performance energy and enhanced mental focus. And by Falcon Tires.
The top 16. This is where drivers hear their names echoed through Evergreen Speedway. For the first time or the 100th, you always feel the buzz. And holding the hardware, #1 qualifier, Peter Visick, goes against the relentless one, Jeff Jones, and he makes his presence felt in the side of his 370Z.
I think you owe me a drink for every time you hit me, so you owe me a bit. Have fun, Thank you.
I pretty much entered next to him, drove up on him multiple times on the bank, surged all the way up to his door, finished the rest of the run like as close as physically possible, bumping him in the last clipping point and driving through. It was probably one of my better chase runs this year so far, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. I know I put 2 tires off in the first run and he didn't, so that was obviously a big deal. But I know the judges were looking at it to see how much better my chase was versus his, but it wasn't enough to overcome it.
Battle Ken Gucci in top 16. It was going to be a tough battle. Leading first, pushed hard. I could see he was right there with me on the bank, and I just tried to do the best lead run I possibly could and got all the clips with nice angle, and he was with me pretty much the whole way. While chasing him then, I knew I had to give it a hard run. He got a lot of speed off the start, and I thought we were starting together, but whatever way he initiated, he pulled like a gap. So I kept it flat, tried to keep a good line, caught him throughout the bank, and settled with him really close throughout the end. So no big mistakes, but definitely tough out there today.
2 brand new cars for the season, but 2 very fierce competitors. Matt Field against the former champion and championship contender, Frederick Osbo. Matt Field moves on.
sucks to go out like that, you know, total mistake on my end. I lost my reference point to where I was on track with the setting sun. I couldn't quite tell and started braking way too late, dropped at least 2 tires and forced Matt to hit me right there. So big disadvantage after the first run, and even if we had a decent chase on him, it wasn't enough. So top 16 loss here, another top 16 loss in New Jersey, so we gotta turn the ship around and come back swinging for the rest of the season.
The pilot known as the Butcher, Cameron Moore from Battleground, Washington. He's from right here in the PNW, takes on Latvian driver Christos Blush. Christos Blush and the Eurofighter, too much to handle for Moore. So as they exchange handshakes, it's Christos Blush who's gonna see the Grade 8 next. 2 Formula Drift veterans go toe-to-toe, one behind the wheel of a Subaru, the other an 86. Dio Shihara trying to put the car in the right places, but Ryan Turk too much to handle. Ryan Turk will move on to the Grade 8. 2 ponies in the stable, but only one can move on. Justin Pollock versus Vaughn Gittin Jr. And for the former champ, he pushes too hard, making contact, forcing himself off and having to retire. That means Justin Pollock gets the win.
Just at the finish line, I just got into adjusting just a little bit and broke my front left tie rod. I lost steering. So it shot me the other way and I caught the K-rail and broke and bent my other tie rod. Like a really stupid situation, but this is drifting. This happens. On the bank, I lost steering and it was just like intermittent, so I apologize. I had steering issues before I hit you and broke my tie rod, so my bad. I know, that's all right. There'll be more times. Good luck.
So going against Odie, I had to follow first, and he, you know, it really not too much went down. He seemed to do something right before the finish line where he seemed to come out pretty wide and dip a tire over the line. And so when I came out of the smoke, I didn't even realize he was all the way out there, so that kind of tripped me out. But so I think that heavily played into my advantage. On the lead run, I just, you know, went for the moon, you know, just having fun.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out, Science In, Performance Out. And by Nitto Tire, fueled by enthusiasts.
All drivers getting prepared for the Grade 8. One step closer to getting on the box known as the podium. Alex Hilbrun from Lima, Peru takes on Polish driver Peter Visik. Unfortunately for Hilbrun, he puts on a show, but too much. Peter Visik will advance on to the Final 4.
He's an animal. He is a Polish wild animal.
I knew on my follow that I had to be right there, and I did just that. Did make a slight mistake coming off the bank, but got back to where I needed to be. Finished off the run strong, flip positions, going for my lead run. I knew I had to hit my marks, do my thing, but James, being the driver that he is, he was right there the entire time. Went to the judges, they gave it to James. Again, it's one of those things you can't leave in the judges' hands, but competing with a guy like that, he doesn't leave anything on the table, but I don't think I did either, so pretty happy overall with the day.
The first part of the outer zone 1 was really good. I was even higher than he on the bank, so he was kind of low. And then going about coming into a bank, I pull a handbrake too early, so that's where he pulled a gap, and then I tried to catch him up and in outer zone 2, a little bit overshoot, and then got in slightly in the smoke, and already the last turn we were pretty blind and hit the cone, so really bad for me. Made the mistake myself and kick out myself again, so really disappointed about myself.
Looked back at the end of the track and saw that I had a little bit of distance on him. Spotter gave me a heads up that we had maybe a slight advantage, made a couple corrections, still needed to run him strong. On my chase run, maybe gave him a little bit too much on the run up, created a little bit of gap, but we reeled him in through the bank. Just stayed close door to door for the rest of the track, and we're moving on.
This is round 5. Previously, James Dean won in New Jersey. Now, it's all Warhouse Drift Team battle here on Evergreen Speedway. Peter Visik pushes around James Dean, literally around the track. but James Dean fights back, maintains his angle as Peter Visick tries to gain some ground. They alternate positions, and James Dean lives up to his nickname, The Machine. A victory hug for only one of the drivers. Next stop for James Dean, the finals.
Just went up against Justin Pollock. We've just been trying to stay consistent. We didn't know which way he was going to set his car up. A lot of times he runs a lot of angle and runs it very loose, which makes it slow. Other times he knows how to run it fast too. So our first lap was a chase lap, and we were just trying to feel it out a little bit, but stay on his door and just figure it out. And it ended up working out for us. And then on my lead lap, I was just hit on my marks. The lead lap was solid, hit on my clips, and just brought it home to the finish, and we got the win.
One more win for Ryan Turk, and he sees the top of the box, of which he hasn't seen since Orlando of 2015. But he has to go through defending champion and most recent winner, James Dean. Frederick Osbo, who got knocked out earlier, is cheering for Ryan Turk to maintain a potential 2018 championship. Ryan Turk, now up front, tries to throw down a solid line, riding the wall, but James Dean cannot be shaken. Ryan Turk bringing it into the power alley, and James Dean shadows him into the second to last clipping point. One more clipping point away, and we'll find out who wins here at round 5. And eventually, the judge is there with James the Machine Dean.
You know, this event is great for the championship for me personally and the Warthouse Drift team. You know, some of the guys went out earlier that were right on our tails coming into this round, but this is drifting. You got to remember that things happen really fast, and you just have to try to stay focused and keep doing your best and see what happens. So it's a tough game, that's for sure. Like, just when you think you're ahead, it can bite you, and you know, you're way back. So it's tough.
The taste and smell of champagne once again for James Dean. Be sure to join us at round 6 in St. Louis. In association with Formula Drift, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.